Hello, hello! I am back for another live paint night. How is everybody? Give these guys a few minutes. I don't see anybody on yet, so I am 1 minute early. I'm gonna try to find myself here while I'm waiting for people to come on. Let's see here. I like to find my comments on my laptop while I do this, so give me 1 second here. Find my live video. Let's pop this up again. How is everyone tonight? Say hello if you are watching. There I am. Alrighty. Oops. No, I just went too far. Okay. That way I can see your comments. Because sometimes if the camera is facing my canvas, I can't turn my head that way to see them. So this way they're popped up, although I see Facebook's being a bit slow, or it's my internet, I'm not sure. But, alright. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Mary. Alright, I am going to run through the list really quickly of things we need, just in case you need a recap. Alright, so I have, this is just multimedia paper. This is an 11 by 14. If you do paint on something bigger tonight, I might be a bit quicker than you just because my space is a lot smaller. But no worries, I'm going to replay this video, so if you fall behind a bit, just, you can, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to post it, and you can go back and start wherever you left off. But I'm going to try to slow it down, and, so mine's 11 by 14. You can have canvas or wood. And then tonight we have just 5 colors. So deep turquoise, purple velvet. And these colors are, you don't have to have these exact colors. I mean, the sky could be pretty any color. So black, I always tell people mix it up a bit. Not everyone has the same decor and not everyone likes the same colors. So there's white and cobalt blue. These are just from the dollar store. Any paints will work. I'm using acrylic, so I would suggest acrylic, but any paints from anywhere you get them from, Dollar Tree, Michael's, online, anywhere will work. So those are the colors. And then I have a 1/2 inch flat brush. Just a pointy, like, detailed brush. And then a tiny flathead. So there's no number on this one. I would say it's probably like a number 2. It's pretty small. These are my brushes from, I get these brushes from Amazon because when I paint in person, I buy them in bulk. So I try to find a good quality brush that isn't crazily expensive. So like if I was to go to Michael's, it'd cost me an arm and a leg, right? But these are from Amazon, and I find that they work really good. The bristles don't fall off in your paint. And you get, I think it's 50 or 60 a pack, and I think they're like 20 bucks. So these ones are really good. And then same with these. I get these 2 off Amazon. So I just have these, like, so many of these in stock because I'm used to doing them everyone in person, so I supply everything for everybody, right? So now I'm just really painting by myself, but with you guys, but you're supplying your own stuff. So, and then I have a plate and my cup of water and some napkins. And most importantly, my tea. Drink of choice, I guess, tonight. I'm sure some of you are cracking open some wine, but I'm a tea girl, so I usually will pick tea over anything. But yeah, so I won't wait a lot longer. We'll get started right away. And what we're going to do first is we're going to put all the colors that we have there right on the plate. So I'm going to put the camera down so you can see kind of what I'm doing here. And the first step is a lot of blending. So with blending, we need to make sure the paint is wet or it won't blend. So getting all our colors prepared means that it will give us time. Since acrylic paint dries so fast, it will give us time to put our blending on without it drying out. Okay, so we're just gonna get, you can always add more to your plate after, but we're just gonna get like a quarter size of each. Maybe only me. It's spreading out. Pretty soon it'll be my whole plate just purple. Okay, and then we got our teal. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Deidre. Oh, you're here with Chantel. Hi, Chantel. So we're just putting this on, no particular order or way. Just slapping the paint on the plate. Nothing gets too fancy around here. I had to go through my paints because usually I have like, I don't know, 20 of each color in my art supply room. So I had to go through them because usually these go pretty fast, but since COVID, I haven't been doing the in-person paint parties. So I had to go through them and, you know, they get dried out kind of inside a bit. So you get like those kind of like booger things. So I had to go through them and make sure I didn't have some major boogers in my paint. Okay, so we have our purple, our teal, the white, the black, and the blue. So what we're going to do is we're going to look, this does not have to go all the way down because if you see here, which I will slide this over so you can see, if you see this one here, the blending only goes to like maybe 3/4 of the page and up, and then we're going to cover it with these mountains and this anyways. So we're only going to be starting our viewpoint from about 3/4 of the way down the canvas. So if we look at our canvas here, we're going to go to the center. Let me move this a bit closer for you. Oops. Okay, now that everybody's dizzy. Okay, I'm going to look at the center this way and about 3/4 down, and this is going to be our starting point. I started with teal in the center, so that's what I'm going to do tonight. And what we're going to do is an S shape. So every S shape we do, we're going to be using this 1/2 inch flat brush. Before I put paint on it, I just kind of want to give you an example. We're going to have the brush down, and then we're going to do an S shape. So whether your S shape goes like this or whether it goes the other way, that doesn't really matter. What we're going to do is just keep every color is going to be centered from this point, kind of like it's dispersing from the center and out. Okay, so we're going to start with purple. There's going to be lots of layers in the sky, so if it doesn't cover the first layer, no worries. And we're going to put a good amount of paint on. We don't want to be cheap, so it's loaded. Okay, and then we're going to just place it down. So in the center, about 3/4 of the way down, and you can choose whatever way you want your S to go, and you're just going to do kind of like that. Now see how that's dry? It's not enough paint, so you can always go over with the other side. You're just going to go over it. Just make sure you're going low enough where you're going to cover it with your mountains. Like I said, this is just our first layer, so no sweat about it not covering fully. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Amanda. How is everyone? Okay, so we're going to go right up here. Yep, I'm going to color on my table. Like you can see, I've already got tons of paint on my table. So we have the purple there. We're going to put it in the purple again and just kind of go over it a little bit, just so it's still really wet. If you are not using purple, choose whatever color you would like. And then, oh, I said I was going to start with teal. Okay, I started with purple. It doesn't matter. It's all going to be pretty anyways. Okay, so then next, I will go to teal next since I didn't do what I said I was going to do. So we'll go right into the teal. You don't have to wash your brush and get the same big amount on there. So it's loaded again. And you're just going to come up from this same center point. So the brush is on that center point again, but you're just going to come over a bit more and follow that same shape. You're going to see the colors mixing together. That's what we want. So no worries if you have the teal, a little bit of a different color in between with the two mixing, and then the purple. You're just going to go over where they meet. Just like that. And if you see like you're kind of losing your purple a bit, you can go back into the purple. We're just working with these two colors right now. So we're just focused on the center of the page. And you're just doing an S shape. Down and back up. And then you can see how it's kind of blending nicely. You have a little bit of the teal in here, and you have some of the blue or the purple in here. So what's going to happen is as we go along with the colors, they're going to blend like this. And then we're going to go in after and kind of add in these like squiggly lines here, these doodad lines. They kind of stick out more. So that will be after. Okay, so you've got that. And then since I did teal on this side, I'm going to go with a little bit of teal over here too and do the same thing. So just starting at the center point here and just kind of going up. And I'm just going back and forth with my brush. So I have it flat on this side. I'm going up, I'm flipping it, and I'm going back down. And flipping it and going back up. This way, both sides of your brush are going to carry paint. When you use the one side and you go down, that pushes the paint through to this side. So you're always going to have more paint on the opposite side of your brush. And it's going to help keep it kind of wet like we want. Just like that. And then I'm going to go back into the purple again. Like I said, this is all a paint. The sky is very layered. So I'm going to go back in again and just kind of do that. So my mixed media paper is actually, because the paint is so wet, it's starting to make like a wave in it because that's how much paint I have, but that's how much you want. If you're using canvas or wood, you won't see that happen. But I have a lack of storage space, so the multimedia paper, it stashes away easily. So right now you're going to have, I'll put this down. So I'm going to put this closer for you. You're going to see, you can't really tell where your purple and where your teal is starting and stopping. There's no defined line. That's kind of what you want to go with. And how you're going to get that is by continuously going like this. So if you do this and you're like, okay, I think that's good, just do it one more time, because you probably need to do it one more time just to blend it in. All right. All right. So now we will go in with the blue. So I have my cobalt blue here. And I'm not cleaning my brush. The only time I would say that we might consider kind of cleaning the brush before we go on is if we use black, because black will turn everything gray. It'll turn this whole thing gray after we do it. So we're not worried about that yet though, because we're not doing black. So blue, and we're gonna start from this midpoint again and come up right beside it. Ashley says, like a female Bob Ross. Hey, I'll take it. That's a good compliment. And my hair looks like his too right now. Oh, jeez. And see how I kind of like covered my teal? I'm not worried because we're going to go back with teal, if you hadn't guessed. So remember, I'm just switching my brush this side, flat this side. And I'm going back into the teal. And I'm starting down here in the center, and I'm just coming back up. So now you're going to start to get these two colors blending. And this is how we really get the canvas covered, especially if you're using a cheaper paint like me, because the only reason why I use these paints is because usually when I do in-home paint parties, I need to bring so many, right? So, it's a good, I mean, this paint though, for being from the dollar store, is really good paint. I use it even for my orders. I really like it, but it is a bit thinner than, let's say, if you went and used something from Michael's. I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. Deco Art, something like that. So, but 2 coats and it's covered. And I'm going to go back into the blue a little bit. All right. Okay, and so on this side, I'm switching it up. I'm going to put a little bit of white, and we're going to do an S with the white. And we're not cleaning the brush, so just keep going with it. It's not probably going to look white when you're done. It'll have colors in it, but I'm going to go from the center again. Now you're going to get a little bit away from the center as you start moving out. You can start doing it a little bit more here, but you still want to stay further in the center here than you are going to be up here, because the illusion is that the paint is, like, the sky is coming out from that center point. So it's going to be hard to maintain your S and keep it exactly in the center. And see how my white is not white anymore? We're going to go back with teal. So the first layer of this painting, as you go, it's going to change its look because you're going to keep adding paint, right? And I'm just going to take the excess paint off. I'm not going to clean my brush. There's a lot of excess paint I have on the bottom. And then I'm going to go back into the purple and just kind of touch up here. Okay, so now you can see we have a very smooth mixture of colors. It's starting to come together. It's looking really pretty. Okay. So next we will do some dark blue over here. So I'm going to load my brush up again. And this time I'm not going to come directly from the center because it's going to be really hard to keep that S shape. I'm going to move over just a little bit here, and you can even come from the top if it's easier for you, and just kind of make that S. I can hear my kids in the other room giggling. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're sure having a blast. We're going to come back through with some white right here. We're just going to start blending all of this out. You want to have the darker, lighter kind of going in and out. Is everyone keeping up okay tonight? I'm trying to slow it down. I wrote myself big notes in front of my face saying just simply slow down because I go so fast and I really want everyone to just enjoy it and not feel like I'm rushing you. So sometimes you forget when you've painted for so long, like somebody who isn't as experienced painting, they're going to obviously take longer. When I first started out, I couldn't paint a painting that fast. I think they say for somebody who paints, it's every half an hour that it takes you to paint a regular painting. It takes like an hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes for someone who's new at it to paint. So I try to keep in my mind that and slow it down a bit. We're still just doing the S shape. And I'm just going back into the blue. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger here. Just use your own discretion for if you need to add more of another color. Like say you have the blue here and you find this line is too dark from color to color, that when you go into the color beside it again, so say I was to go back into white, it's going to blend these two colors back together really nicely. So, I mean, I can't see what you're doing exactly. So if you see here, I don't feel like I need to go back into white. The transition from here to here is good. If there was a defined blue line, I would definitely put some more white just to kind of make that light blue happen. But use your own discretion. If you, like, I mean, we're going to put the lines in anyway, so it is going to look a bit liney. It's not like we're keeping it completely like this. So, okay, I'm going to go back to this side and just put a little bit of blue here like we had, just to make it kind of a little bit wet again because it's drying. And then we'll go into our next color. And I think we're going to do black next. And we can go right into the black with our brush that's loaded with paint. I'm not going to put as much black because it spreads far. So I just have it more on the tip there. Okay. Can everyone see that okay? Let me just see if I lower this, if it's better. Give me 1 second. I just want you to get close enough. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I'll start at the top here because we're not going directly to the center again. We're just going to end more over here with the black being here. And we're going to partially cover up that black anyways, but and don't be scared of the black. It's going to overpower, but we're going to calm it down. So there is going to be a defined line at the beginning. You see from the blue to the black, it's looking like you actually put a line there. But we're just going to get our black covered in like this. And then when we're satisfied with the coverage of the black and how wide we want it for now, then I'm going to say clean your brush before you go back into the blue here. So that's what I'm going to do. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Bev. So I'm going to clean my brush pretty good. I want to get the black out. I don't want it to follow me through my whole painting. I want to be able to choose where it's going, not choose for me. And then just give it a good, I'm just wiping it off on a napkin here. And then I'm going to go back into that blue. Now you will carry some of the black when you do this, just because it's still wet. But it won't be overpowering because you're going to have more blue than black. And I'm going to put a little more on my plate. If you feel like you don't have enough on your plate, put some more. It's better to have enough on your brush than not enough. And I'm just going to go down that line. You can see already doing that, black has come into the blue and blue is into the black. So it's already starting that blending process. And we're just going to keep going up and down. You're just going to kind of give like a navy blue effect into the lighter blue. And we can do the same thing again. So I'm just taking the excess paint off my brush just because black carried into my brush and I don't want it to. And I'm going to go back into the blue again. Sorry. Okay. And I'm going to go right here and back down there again. Just to kind of make the blue pop a bit more. Hi, Cassie. Okay, and I'm not going to take it much further than that, because if you keep going, you will start to go into all your other colors, and you can just keep going forever, and it'll just be a journey of black and blue. So we're going to stop it there. Like I said, there's going to be little things going in and out of here anyways, so because I have, anytime you end with, even if you are putting a color over black, if you have black on the brush, clean your brush because it's going to follow you. So I'm going to clean it again. And I'm going to go back into the teal for this side here. I love these colors. They're so warm. It just feels so relaxed when you look at them. I think I did a painting like with this same color coordination not that long ago, and just, it's such a nice color. Okay, so I'm going back in with the teal for this side now. If you just go along that line with the black, it'll start to blend. Because we don't want black to be the main focus. It's not really the main focus in the one I did as an example. I just want to have it there to make depth in the sky. But we want the colors really to shine through. So I'm just going, same thing as I was, just back on this side, coming back this way on this side. And you'll get a rhythm going. Like the more you paint, you'll get to know like more like a feel for the brush rather than just not really knowing what's happening, just kind of doing it. I'm going to go back into the teal just to make this pop a bit more. Every time we go into the same color over top of what's blended, it's going to make that color brighter, because you're diluting the second color more and more as you are bringing in this new color, if that makes sense. And over here, I'm going to skip right over to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing with the teal again. Bring more teal over here. And you're just keeping, so when you look at the bottom, let's say I just finished this. So when you look at, when you look at the bottom of this color here and you look at the top of it, you're going to see I am like this far away here from reaching the edge, but on the top I'm touching the edge. So the top is going to be wider, and we're kind of bringing the colors all down more into here. So when we start a new color over here, it will be on the side and it's going to be coming over. We just kind of want to look like that light source, and where all the colors are coming up is going to be from the middle of the mountains. So now, because this side dried a bit, and this is the thing with acrylics, if you're working with oil, you have like 3 weeks to do this, but we have like 3 seconds to do it with acrylic. So, because this dried, you can see it's giving, I'm going to put it closer to the camera so you can see the difference. So we have all blended here, and then you can see there's a defined line between here and here. So I'm going to go back into the blue, and I'm just going to do that edge. That's why when they say when you work blending with acrylics, you kind of want to work fast, because you want to avoid that. But just picking up a little bit of wet paint and just doing that will help. Now, it has happened a bit here again. I'm not going to be too concerned about it because we are putting lines in later and there's going to be mountains and stuff, but just adding a bit of wet paint will help. And then I'm going to go in with purple again. So I'm going to do purple on this side and some purple on this side. And you don't have to wash your brush. Throw me a thumbs up if you guys are keeping up okay tonight. Okay, so I'm just gonna follow the same shape. And I'm just kind of going quickly over the edge like this, back and forth, and that's what's going to help it blend. I'm going to come in with more purple because it's a bit thin. Some colors you buy will be thinner than other colors. Okay, so we're doing that, and then we're going to go to the other side and do it as the same thing. And back into the teal. The color that is beside the color you used, you go back into just to blend it out. You will already have purple on your brush, as you can see there. I have purple and teal on my brush. So naturally, when I go back and forth, they're going to blend together on that edge and create that look you're looking for. I almost feel like doing a dance move while I'm doing this. You do it so much, you just want to kind of make it like a rhythm. I have to make music up in my head because I can't listen to it, or Facebook blocks out my video. So all the music is in my head. Okay. So next we'll go with, on this side, I'm going to do just a little bit of black here. And I'm going to bring in a little bit more blue here and some black, but we'll go step by step. So you got your paint brushes loaded already with color. You can go right into your black. And I'm just ending, this edge will be black. It will be ended in black. And your mountains are going to be, like I said, about 1/4 up your page, and then they're going to go up even higher, and then they're going to valley down. So if you can kind of pre-imagine where you're going to want to put your mountains, then you can kind of judge where your paint's going to go. So I would say the start of my mountain will be 1/4 of the page up. So I'm going to want to put black paint at least to right here. So I can just mark that right now. And then go from here and continue that same stroke up and down. And if you go lower, I mean, that's okay. We're going to paint over it anyways. So it's better to go a bit lower than not have it covered, because it's going to be really hard to get that rhythm once your mountains are painted in if you have a space, because it's the flow of your brush. So you're going all the way down. If you have mountains there, you're not going to be able to do that again. So that's going to end that side, and I'm just going to clean my brush off. I'm going to go back into the purple because it's beside the black, and I'm going to blend that out. What did everyone do for dinner tonight? I ordered Armando's because I was being lazy. Because I had my kids' art kits that I was finishing up today for Canada Day. So those had to be finished, and then I had the 2 kids. That right there is just like, okay, order out when you have the 2 kids. But that, and then I wanted to get the house cleaned up a bit. I haven't cleaned the house in a few days because I was busy. And then I ended up taking the kids out for ice cream. This was the first time I took them for ice cream all summer, so they were pretty excited. Okay, so I'm going back into the purple. And I'm just going over that line, staying with the same stroke. So up and flip your brush, and then down and flip your brush. And then that will complete that side. So on this side, we're going to finish, I might put a little strip of black in. See, when I do my paintings, nothing's ever the same because they're freehand. So, I mean, it would be almost virtually impossible to do this painting exactly the same as that one. Now, when I do my stenciled paintings, it's a lot easier. But, hi, Mary. It's not going to look exactly the same as that. They never really come out exactly the same. But I'm going to put just a tiny bit of black, and then I'm going to end in blue on this side, just so we can have a little bit of darkness in here. So we'll go all the way up there. And then I'm just going to leave space for blue to finish off here. And I'll probably even go over the black a little bit, just to make it even a little bit thinner. But right now we're starting with this because this is, I mean, I could have used my brush sideways, but that's okay. And then I'm going to clean my brush because I used black. I can't wait to start in-person paint parties again. I'm hoping soon. Even if it's just like groups of 10, that would be cool. I miss doing them in person so much. I'm like, this year I'm gonna rock in-person paint parties. And then COVID hit and I'm like, okay, never mind. The world had a different plan for me, I guess. Never say you're gonna do something, I guess, without checking with the world first. Okay, so I'm going back in the purple. And then I'm just going to go along that edge. So I'm going to try to make the black a little thinner. And of course the black is going to dominate the color here. So I'm going to probably have to wash my brush one more time and then go through again with purple. I'll do it again. Even if we waited for it to dry a little bit, then you would get a better coverage. But we'll just go with it for now. Okay. I kind of like having that, just that little strip of purple peeking through. It's kind of nice. And then we're going to clean it again and just go in with, finish off with blue. How's everyone's sky looking? Are we, I don't know what size canvas you're using, so are we pretty much where I'm at, or do we need more time? Just let me know, I can slow it down. Okay, I'm going in with blue. So I'm just scooping up a big glob both ways. Fully loaded brush again. And I'm just going to finish off this side right here. I'm going to cross over the black a bit so it's a bit thinner. Let me just see, yeah, because my mountains over here are going to be a bit higher, so you won't even see the blue if I do it all the way down here, but I got to get the momentum started from down here and then work up. And then I'm going to add just a tad bit of white while I'm here, just to lighten this a bit. So when it blends in, it'll be almost like a lighter. And that's going to give it, when the mountain goes in, it's going to kind of look like it's lighting from behind the mountain. So see what if I'm doing this, I kind of want to show you guys up close here if you can see. if I'm doing little strokes like this, see how I'm leaving a shape, which is cool if that's what we're going for, but it's really not. I do that to just get that blend going, but I always finish with a full stroke. That way it's looking even. It's all going the same way. And it's kind of giving that vibe of the sky coming in. And I'm going to put even a little bit more white. I'm not going to go too heavy-handed on this part, just very lightly, because I kind of want to leave that white just kind of showing through a bit. I'm just going back in the blue a bit because I got rid of it. We just want this part to be a bit lighter, so we have the dark part of our sky and the lighter part. And that's really where the light source is coming from. So, okay. So we have that. So when we're completed that, we are going to work on kind of getting different colors in here a bit. So we're going to work with the dry surface, and it's going to kind of give us like this here, this look here. Am I showing you that right? Yeah. So this look, and if you can kind of see in here, not everything is as blended. We want a blended base so the overall is, but the over top is going to be just kind of like streaks of light and whimsical colors coming through. So we're sticking still with the 1/2 inch brush. And I'm just going to wash it off really good. My water's kind of getting muddy. And I'm painting from my bedroom, so there's no sink in here. No ensuite for me, not yet. One day I will be painting in my actual art room, not jamming a table into my bedroom. Hey, start where you are, right? Doesn't matter where you are, start where you are. It's amazing how if you do small steps each day, a year from now, you're like, holy crap, look how far I came. And the whole time, you were just like, well, how do I start? I don't have everything to start. Well, if you don't start, you won't be anywhere in 1 year. So that's my little, my preach. I always do one preach during my art session. So, okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to, okay, so we started with the purple here. So we're going to take teal, and it's going to be on just the very tips of the brush. So we're going to go into the teal here. Hold on, let me make sure you can see this. So we're going to go straight down, and you're going to have the end, yeah, I want a bit more. Okay, so you're not like globbing it all over your brush. You're just going to kind of tap some extra into the bottom. And then you're going to take and just kind of do like 1 or 2 dabs just on the side of the plate. And then coming up through the purple here, you're going to be with a flat brush. So it's going to be flat against the surface. And we're just going to be, so you got teal and purple, and we're just going to kind of be coming up like this. So just kind of give it that, so it's going to look almost like a dry stroke on top, a wet stroke on top of dry. So you can see there. And it's just very light-handed. It's not, you're not trying to blend too much. And that's just to get some color kind of flowing on top. You can even put a little bit, if you have clean water, I might have to run and get some clean water. Your brush in there, get it wet a little bit, and then just kind of go along that line again. And it kind of gives you the illusion that it's rising up. And so we can do that with the purple into the blue. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab some more. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking my brush. I did not clean it. I'm going right into the purple, dabbing in a couple times. You see you'll have like that glob there. That's what you kind of want. See it's hanging there? You kind of want to get rid of that. That's not what you want. You want to have like a clean bristle stroke. So before when we were blending, we wanted all the paint we could get. Now we just want to dab it off a bit. And then when you see now, it's kind of just like you can see the bristles on the bottom. That's what you're going for. And then I'm going to come up through the blue, just very light-handedly. So same thing. And you can see again that you kind of got the hit and miss through the blue now with purple. I love this painting. It's fun to do. And we're not going to do this through the whole thing. We're going to kind of pick and choose. So I did a couple side by side here. We got a little bit of the teal and the purple. We got some purple and the blue. So we can pick here. Since I already have purple in my brush, I might just come in with a little bit of purple over here in this, on this section here, because it's a pretty big section that just is plain teal. So I'm dabbing my brush again into the paint. I'm dabbing it a couple times on the side. Don't be afraid to look at your brush. If you need to look and see how much paint you have on there, go ahead. And then we're just going to, same thing, come up very light-handed. If it hits and misses, I'm going to try to show you closer. My paper's all floppy. Okay, and I keep hitting my foot on that. All right, so I'm here. I'm just, like, I'm touching. Oh, I'm not touching anymore, and then I'm not touching, and then I'm touching. That's just kind of how it's going. So... and you can kind of see it almost looks like steam or like fumes rising up through the sky. Almost like an aurora borealis, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with a little bit of teal, I think, through this black here. And really just, you pick your own areas. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly the same as mine. Like I said before, no two paintings are the same, and especially, I mean, if one person is painting two paintings that are the same painting and they're not getting it exactly the same, two completely different people are not going to get it the same because we're viewing things differently, we're imagining what we like different, our brains work differently. Some people use their left side, some people use their right side. Me, I'm left-handed, so I use the right side of my brain. Most people are right-handed, so if you're doing this with your right hand, you probably are thinking different than me. So there's no right or wrong when it comes to doing this. So right here I see I have a little bit of too much space in the black that's just so solid black, right? So I'm going to go into the teal and I'm just going to put some teal in there. Okay. And like if for some reason you come in and you're like, oh, I did too much teal in that area, you can go back and fix it with more black. It's not, nothing's ruined, everything's fixable. So, say I was like, oh, I didn't want that much teal, then I just kind of clean my brush, just not with water, but just kind of wipe it down so there's not so much teal in there. And I come back with like ever so slight amount of black here. And I just kind of do the same thing. So I'm hit and missing. And then see how it kind of got rid of some of that because I thought it was too much going on. So you can work with it. You can play with it. Really, we're working on the sky, and the sky is the limit. Okay. What do I want to do now? Okay, so I'm going to take now, and I'm going to put a little bit of white through here. Down the center, because the light source we're going to have coming mostly, I guess from the center, we got our lighter colors and the darks as we move out. I'm going to put a little bit of white in here. So I'm going to do the same thing. If you did black with me just now, make sure you clean your brush before you go into white, or you'll just have like a messy gray color. All right. And what I like to do, because we are using the brush like in a flat surface, when I'm done cleaning my brush, a lot of the times I'll just kind of take my fingers and just rub it just so that all the bristles are going the same way, to kind of get like this edge here to be flat. Now, if I was, let's say, doing trees or whatever, I would kind of like mess them up, but we don't want that look. So I'm just going to kind of bring them together and then go into the white. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm loading it up a little bit just on the tip, and then I'm just tapping so that the bristles, you can still see the form of the bristles underneath. And I'm just going to come through this light part here. Just kind of hit or miss throughout here. And then I'm going to add just a tiny bit of water to my brush. It's going to kind of bring a little bit of this together rather than be so out there. My water is dirty, so my white might turn a little bit dirty, but I don't feel like going to get my clean water right now. But we'll take our chances here. So just a little bit of water, and you'll see when you're adding the water how you kind of get these little bristle strokes. They kind of come together in unison when you add the water, see? So you can work with that too. I work with water so much with acrylic, it's almost like I turn it into water paint. Acrylic and water work really good together. I think you just, you have to, like these ones are cheaper, so these ones are going to be watered down more. I think you're supposed to keep it to like a 30% ratio, or you start to get like a separation in your paint. But when you're just adding a little bit of water on the tip of your brush, it's not like you're actually mixing the water in your paint. You'll be fine. So we have that coming through here. And I'm touching like so gentle. I'm not putting hardly any pressure. And I'm just going to come up. So we have that there. Now, like I said, if you wanted to go back in with any blues or teal, you can do that too, but I don't mind how this is looking here because we're also going to be adding some more white through here. So I think I'm going to take, and I'm just going to lighten up this a little bit, but I'm going to take the brush and I'm going to use it on the flat side, but the skinny way. So I'm not going to be holding it down like this. I'm going to be turning it so that it's like straight up. Okay. So I'm just going to go into a little bit of white. And I'm going to come through here. So see how we're getting that skinny line? And you can go over it, but you can hit and miss. So it doesn't have to be perfectly together. I'm just going to wipe my brush down a little bit, and I'm just going to come back. It's always about just going back and forth with your colors. So I'm going to take the blue, because I mostly went over blue here, and I'm just going to put some blue back in there. And you can see how you're starting to get like the color of the swirls. And then over here, sorry, I keep kicking the stand. Over here, I think I'm going to take just a tiny bit of teal and I'm going to come back through here because it's kind of like right in your face. And Mary says, Patty, have you ever done a painting? Are you talking about my mom, Patty? Because she never has, no. She, you know, she likes to say that she can't. She's not creative. Although her creativity comes out in, like, she can crochet like no other. I definitely even never been able to crochet. So that's really where her talent comes out. But she's never dared to do one. I should dare her to do one with me. I think with step-by-step instructions, I think anyone can paint a picture. So even if you think you're not creative, now, painting is a skill, so over time and practice, like I've said before on my lives, you can go from drawing stick figures, which my mom likes to say that she can only do, to really being like, you could be like Picasso. I am not Picasso, I am not there. I am somewhere in the middle of just having fun and learning techniques and playing around here. But no, my mom has definitely never done a painting. And I really wish she would, because I think that she would be surprised on what she could do if she actually followed like step by step. Okay, what was I doing? Okay, so I'm going to come through with a little bit of teal. And when I do the teal, I'm going to add, so I have just like the slightest amount there. I'm going to add like a very small amount of water to it. Just like so tiny on just, like I'm just taking my brush in my very dirty water and I'm just like barely touching. And then if you touch too much, just kind of drip it off, or you can pat it on your plate again. I want the teal to be diluted a bit so it's not going to just take and overpower the white. And then come through and you can see there how that just watered down a little bit, kind of came through, but it didn't overpower. And I'm just going to do the same thing, I think just through here, just a little bit. And then just a little bit over here too. Just a little bit of white. I'm going to put, and you can mix this up, like there's no rules. So I'm going to put a little bit of white on this side of my brush. And I'm going to put a little bit of teal on this side. And then I'm going to put a little bit of water. And so when we go to do that stroke, we're going to have like a multicolor, watered down lines floating through the air. And then just come up like that. And I'm going to put just a bit more teal. And if you want to smooth out your edge a bit, you can always put your brush flat, but use like this edge here, just this very side of the edge, not the whole thing. And you can kind of create, by putting it down and just going up, kind of create that line there. So see how this kind of happened here, but it looks, I like it, it looks cool. And just kind of play with it. So I'm just kind of going around and throwing some in. And I'm just, now that this is dry a bit more, I'm going to bring in a bit more blue over here. My mom says, no, I haven't. I will. I'm just not too creative. Crystal doesn't get her talent from me. Oh, mother. You are talented in other ways. Maybe not painting, but like I said, it's just, if you practice. I'm going to make you, if you're still listening, you're going to do a painting with me. You're going to come live with me and do a painting. Just to show that any skill level can paint a painting with step-by-step instructions. I've had people at paint parties that never have been to a paint party before, and their creations come out beautiful. And I see them walk out and they're like, holy crap, I did this? And I'm like, yeah, you did, because it's so possible. You just need the guidance of knowing the step-by-step, the way to use the brushes, the proper pressures. Okay, so I'm coming through with the blue here a little bit. I just don't want it to be gray over there so much. I'm trying to keep gray out of the painting as much as possible. And then I'm just going to dab into some white just to kind of get that. There, I like that better. So see, you can, down here I have the black a bit thicker than up here. I'm kind of covered it more. So it's almost like a thin line, but then it's going into the black being a bit thicker. Okay, so we're going to put in our lines in our sky, and then we'll be able to move on to the mountains. Okay, so I'm going to wash the big brush. We're done with it for right now. We will go back to it. So we're gonna put the big brush aside when we're done, and we're gonna go to, where is it? We're gonna move to the tiny flat brush, and we are gonna be using this the skinny way. So straight down, skinny way, not flat like this, but straight up, skinny way. Okay, so now we wanna put some lines in here. So we can start with really any color. Let me see. Maybe we will start with some white, I guess. So let's go in with white, and we're doing the same thing we did. We are tapping it in and then just doing a little tap on the side. And you can pick anywhere. I'm going to bring one right down the center of this color. So because I'm going to kind of try to alternate. So because I have some white here, a little bit coming through here, I'm not going to necessarily put white on those 3 spots just because white is there. You could always do a little something more pronounced through the white, but I want to kind of get some white going through the colors. So I'm just going to come up, and you might not even want to go straight down. You can go a little bit on a curve. So instead of using the whole bottom, you're going to use the bottom like edge. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so we're going to go down here, and we're just going to follow the shape. So all the way up like that. And we can do that in a couple different spots. Now, we don't have to start from bottom to top. Little swirlies can be coming like just, you know, a little bit there. And you're going to want to reload. You don't want to really get too much of a hit and miss look. You kind of want it to be solid. So don't be scared to reload it after, even after every one, unless you're doing a small one after a big one. And you're going to tap it off again. So if you see the bottom of my brush there, it's not too crazy loaded. And you can come through, give me some more space here. Come through here. And if you're hitting and missing, like maybe because my paper is bubbled because I didn't use canvas, you can just kind of go back and, there you go, just like that. And I might do one small one. Oops, I did it again. Might do one small one here, and then I will put some other colors in. So I'm just going to take and just kind of do a small line there. And then I'm going to wash my brush. So after every one of these, we are washing our brush because we don't really want to blend here. We want it to pop. Try to find the areas of your canvas that are the driest to work with. And then as you're working with those, the other ones will dry. Working wet on wet with this is not going to make them pop as much. It's going to blend them. So you kind of want to find the spots that are dry, which if you're working with acrylic, you should be pretty good for being dry now. And then I'm going to go into the teal, and I'm going to do some teal ones. Same way. So I'm tapping into it, and I'm just tapping a couple times on the side. Same thing, using the edge of the flat side of the brush, not the whole entire thing. And just kind of coming up where there isn't teal. So if you're going to put this on teal, it's not really going to pop as much. So we're going to pick spots that are not teal right now. And just kind of go up like that. And you can follow, what's cool too is if you follow like one of the white lines. So if I was to go on this side here, just kind of follow it, make it a bit bigger. It kind of gives it more of an illusion. Just like that. Don't put it, I almost put my brush in my tea. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go through with some blue. And same thing, like you don't want every line to be as long as the other. you don't really, it's kind of hit and miss, and it's not a pattern. So you wouldn't have the same exact pattern throughout the sky. So we don't really want to give it that look. So just like for here, for example, I have a white line that is almost from the top to the bottom. I don't really want to put the blue line from the top to the bottom beside it. It's just going to kind of make it look weird. So let's say if I start halfway up and then I finish a little higher. That's kind of what we're going for. And I'm just going to do one here. And then we're going to go in with some black lines. So we don't want to get carried away. We did the majority of the back of the sky already, and it looks pretty. These are just a couple accents. We don't want to have like lined wallpaper, just here and there. And then we're going to come in with the black. So what I like to do with this is same thing, tap it in, and then we're going to come up there. Over here a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is let it dry a little bit and just kind of go over it, the black, with just, not all of them, but just a little bit of color. That way it's not so in your face. So I'm just going to let it dry a little bit. Because if you see here, I'll show you this example. If you see here, I'm trying to find where it is. Okay, so say there's like a black line coming through here. I kind of went over with a color a little bit, just so it's not like boom. Same with here, like I had one here, but then I kind of did a white. So we just kind of want it to appear like you can see it, but not like it's sticking straight out, if that makes sense. Okay. Just a couple more seconds here and it should be dry enough. We don't want to smear the black paint and get it basically all over the canvas again. So we're going to water down, I'm going to do some teal first and just kind of water it down and go along here. We'll do white and teal for this. Okay. So I'm going to go into teal first, same way that we were, just tapping it in and then tapping it on the side. And then I'm going to put it in a little bit of water. Just a very tiny bit, kind of squeeze it off. You can even tap again on the plate, make sure it's not too much. And then I'm just going to take, I'm trying to see what line's pretty dry. I'm just going to take this one and kind of just hit or miss, go over a bit. So see how it kind of gives that, it's diluted a bit, it's not so right there. Same with this one, I'm going to put a little bit more. And really this is just take your time, it's nothing to be rushed through, and just kind of see what you like. You might have to go back again with some black or... So I'm not going directly over it, I'm kind of going to the side of it. That way there's still a line that's prominent, but it's just not so bold. It's kind of like that. So I'm just going to do some teal on the, just a couple lines of teal on the black. And then I'm going to do a little bit of white on the other black ones. So same thing, just kind of tap in there. Put a little bit, and now I said my water's dirty, so it's probably going to be a little bit like gray, but And then same with over here. So just kind of coming up on the side of it a bit. Same with this one here. I know you said, Mary, that you were hoping that your daughters would do this one so you could hang it on your wall. So I'm glad that they're doing it. Just kind of on the side there. Really, most of this is going to be covered anyways. You're just going to see the top part, but, oops, sorry. I always like to get the flow of going from one point, like point A to point B, not just starting halfway. You kind of want to make it look like if the mountains weren't there, that's what would continue on. Okay, so we're going to go to the mountains now. And we're going to stick with this brush. And I'm just going to make it flat. And we're going to go into the black. So I'm just tapping it in like this. I'm going to tap to the side. And this is just going to be the outline of the mountains. So this is going to be what determines what your mountains look like. So I'm going to be using the skinny side here, not the flat side. So just straight down. So it's going to look like straight down. We're going to pick a spot and just, you can just hold it there. So I said just start the mountain about 1/4 of the page up, maybe 1/3, something like that. So maybe like right here. And I'm just going to put my brush down and then I'm just going to go up and down and you can release. So you have just like a little hill. I'm going to get more black paint. We want to make sure we have enough. We don't want to run out halfway through. And then I'm going to start here. So just give your mountain like a little bit of space here. And you can, I mean, I did a pretty rounded mountain. You can do more of a peak. I'll do more of a peak over here so you can see. But like this here, you can always just come up and then you could go straight down. We're going to make a little valley like that. And we're going to come back up here. And back down. And then just straight up. So that's going to be our outline here for our mountain. So I just did just a smooth line here all the way down and then release. And then you can pick how far down you want your next one to be. Now you can pick if you want them to be round or if you want them to be pointy. I'm kind of doing a mix here. Then all the way like a little dip in the valley. That's where our little house is going to be. And then up again and then straight there. You can even make it kind of, if you wanted to, you could kind of curve it in a bit so it looks like the peak is just before there. That way you can kind of see where the mountain top is. And then we're going to go back to our 1/2 inch flat brush. And we are going to paint this whole entire bottom part black. So all the time we took for this, it doesn't matter anymore. But the point is we know it's there. We know we did that. And I'm just going to paint, just fill it all in black. Because that's going to be like our silhouette of our mountains down here. You know what, and if there's a little bit of wet paint still and it kind of mixes in, no worries, because there's going to be a lot of texture into these mountains anyways. So we're going to be adding white and blues and mix some gray. Going to be a lot going on. This table's gonna be fun to clean. I keep forgetting to buy tablecloths when I go to the Dollar Tree. And we're just filling it in, this whole bottom section. Get some more black. Hi, Janet. Okay. I'm just going to fix this mountain up here a little bit. I don't like him. He's a little bit too, he's leaning a bit. So I'm just going to go back with my other brush here and just kind of fix him up. Now the cool thing about this really is you can always put, if you, let's say you wanted the mountain to be a little bit different, like you can always add to it. Obviously you can't really go back down, but like for this here, if I want it to be more rounded. So for here, I just want to come up a bit like that. Make him a bit more rounded. And I'm going to round him off a little bit too. I'm partial to the round, not the pointy. But I wanted to show you that both options are available. So like that, just round it a bit. Back down. And I'm going to take and bring this one up a little bit higher. Let me just fill that in. Okay. I'm just cleaning off my brushes. And I'm just gonna let you guys catch up if anybody needs to catch up for a minute. I'm gonna break down and I'm gonna go and get myself some fresh water. I'm gonna stop being lazy and I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do it. So I will be right back. I'll leave this on here so that you guys can see the painting if you need reference for now. And I'll be right back. Okay, I did it. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to kind of work on just having some texture into the mountains. So I'm going to take, if you have some extra space on your plate, I'm just going to add some black and white to make gray. And I'm going to work with this brush to start, so the 1/2 inch flat. And I do have white and black on my plate, but let me see if I have room here. So you're going to want a majority of white. And if a couple of your other colors mix in, no big deal. And you're just going to want to mix a little bit of black in there, not too crazy. A little bit darker. So kind of like a medium gray. And we're just going to wipe off the excess paint. And then we're going to kind of envision like valleys in here. So for example, this is, I'll start on this side because it's simpler to explain. So this mountain is coming down a slope like this. So we naturally, if we slid down the snowy hill, we would fly down this way, right? So we're going to want to bring some strokes down so that it looks like the mountain is going in that direction. We're following it. So we don't want a ton of paint, just kind of just on there, not like a huge thick amount. And we're just going to go gently, just kind of brush and leaving, you want to leave a little bit of a black edge because you don't want to cover the mountain directly, like all of it. You just kind of want to leave like that shadow effect. So when you get close there, just kind of brush. I have too much paint still. So I'm going to wipe some off. And you just want to brush down. Just kind of hitting, missing like that. So you're going to get, this edge does not have to be straight. It's okay to be rocky. And just kind of brush on an angle downward here. And then we're going to do the same thing. Do the same thing here. So these two mountains are meeting in the middle. So our paint is going to go swoop and swoop. So we're going to start it here, not directly on the edge, a bit before the edge. So you see when I put my brush down, it's on this flat edge here on just an angle. It's not directly flat. And when you look at my paint here, you can see when I put my brush down, I didn't put it right on the line. I want there to be a little bit of space there. And I'm going to swoop down. And I'm going to take the same here, and I'm just going to swoop down. Just going to go back and forth. So when you have wet paint on dry, you're going to get that look. Unless you completely load this brush up, you're going to get that look of like a terrain, like levels and depth and roughness. And that's exactly what you want for this sort of painting, especially for mountains. So we are going to do the same thing again. We're going to go from here, and we're going to be adding in different colors. So it's not going to be all solid gray. I'm just going to hit and miss here a bit too. Kind of give it that same flow. Down like that. You can see how it's starting to look more three-dimensional than just flat. And then same here. Now, I'm going to picture that this mountain, you're going down this mountain on, if you're on the top and you're sliding down this way, you're going to go this way. And if you're sliding down this way, you're going to go this way. Okay. So we're starting here in the middle, and we're just coming down and down from there. It's kind of all meeting in the middle like this. So now I'm going to get, I'm going to put a little bit of gray here too, actually. Just lightly. just kind of down this way. So we can kind of see that the mountain is going two separate ways. And we don't really want to have that defined line though. So we want to cross over it a bit and cross over it a bit this way. Okay, and then we're going to go into some blue. We're not cleaning the brush. I'm going to go into some blue like that. And we're going to just go down like, same thing, just down like this. I'm trying not to go too high there. I went a little nuts. And as we go down, it's going to blend it together a bit, and that's what we want. I'm going to go a little bit more blue. Try to give that defined edge there. Basically telling us that there's this side of the mountain and there's this side of the mountain here. I'm going to go in with a tiny bit of blue through here. I'm going to put that like that. And then I'm going to go back into the gray and just, it's a bit too much. So when we look at this, it almost appears like this mountain is now coming in front of this mountain because you have this shading in the background. I'm going to bring some more gray in here. And then same with over here. I'm going to do a little bit of blue. And this is a very small amount of paint on your brush, and it's a very light hand. So you're not globbing it and pressing down hard, because what you're going to do is you're going to get that same texture as the sky. And that's not really what we want to do. We want it to look like it has different levels. So just kind of like that. And if, I mean, I had some white up here a little bit, and that came through, and that's perfect. That looks good. And then same with here. So a little bit of blue coming down. And then I'm going to go into a little bit of white. A very light amount. Again, just it's even just really on the one edge there. And I'm going to just very lightly kind of hit or miss this down. So you can see how you're getting, like, that might be deeper than this because that is lighter, so it's higher up into the light. So there's like almost like a little cave there, like a little dip. And that's what you're trying to accomplish, is that look there. And then same here. So I'm just going to bring it down a bit. And then back up here. I want the most to be up here and it to kind of fade. So I'm going to start my brush here because I'm going to have the most paint loaded on there while I'm at the area I want the most. And then as I go, it's going to go away. So I'm going to put it down and then just kind of brush. So you see, if you look at it, the thickest point is there and it's just kind of sliding down. Hopefully this is all making sense. It is in my head. And that doesn't mean anything though. Okay, and then same here. So just very light. And same with like the sky. If there's something that you feel is too much sticking out, take the color that's underneath it and put a little bit on there and then put it over top. So for example, if I felt like there was too much white here, I would tap gently into the gray and then I would go lightly over. And you would see how that white kind of disappeared. It's not disappeared, but it just lessened it. But I kind of like the white like that. Okay. I'm just going to bring some more grays in through here. Just at the base. Follow your mountain shape. So if your mountain's coming down, then follow it like that. And then I'm going to take a defined line again. So we're layering. We have the sky, we have the mountains. Now we're going to have some land below here. So I'm going to go into the black. And I'm going to make some terrain. It's not going to be even. It's going to be like it's the ground. And then I'm going to come back over with black in here because I want it to pop out like it's in the front. And it's okay if you get like a little bit of the gray coming through here. We're going to add some in anyways, just because every level has to have some depth. So all I did was, if you're just still on the step here, all I did was I made this a little line, just kind of to say where the foreground is. And then I just filled it in again with black. So we're just going level by level here. And then once you do that, you should have some paint left on your brush that's lighter up top from when you did the gray. So you have the black and the gray. And you can just take, and the flatter you put your brush, the more this is going to show up on your painting. So the more the gray is going to show up. So say you were just on your base here where you had the black and you colored that in. Now say you want to add some texture in here. You can put your brush down and push with a little more pressure and then slide across and see how that's coming through. That's what you're going to get, which is really cool. And it's just going to be hit or miss. So that's just kind of what I'm doing there. But I want where the mountains connect with the land, I want that to be a pretty black defined line. I want to leave that there. Okay. Is everyone still keeping up okay? Give me a thumbs up if you're having fun. Am I the only one enjoying painting? Is anyone else enjoying it with me? Enjoying all my blabbing? Well, I want to try to explain it the best that I can for you to see like how I'm getting each step. So how am I making the mountains pop? How am I getting the land to come forward with some depth still? Like every little step matters when you want to achieve a certain look. So I like to kind of explain it to death so you can kind of visualize what you're doing. Okay. So I'll wait and see if I get some thumbs up that we can continue on. And what we're going to do next is, we're going to do the trees next. So we're going to go to this brush here, the tiny flathead. We are going to use this pointy one. It's coming up. It hasn't been left out or forgotten. So let me know when you guys are ready. Just throw me a thumbs up, a smiley face, maybe a thumbs down. Throw me something so I know you're ready for the next step. And I'll sip on my tea. I got this cup in the mail. I love it. Since I drink so much tea. Art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. Boy, does it ever. Okay. Oops. Spilling on my laptop would not be my choice. Okay. All right, let's do the trees. So we are going to place, there's 3 trees in this painting. I will show you quickly so you kind of know what's happening here. So we have 2 over here and 1 over there. So we're going to have this brush here and we're going to put the flat end in the painting again, in the black paint. We're just going to tap down and then just do a little tap on the side. And We're going to draw a line. It doesn't have to be like a solid line. So we're going to kind of tap side to side, just using the bristles. So we'll start at the top of our tree, however tall we want it. This one's going about this high here. And we're just going to kind of tap side to side all the way down. So we're going to have just like little tiny tap marks, if you can see that. So I'm just kind of tapping in a straight line, but like side to side in a tiny little line all the way down. We're going to go all the way till we hit here. So can you see that okay? All the way till we hit this, the bottom of the ground where the tree would be. So we're going to put that one in there. And then we're going to do 2 more over here. So I have one that kind of stands in the mound, but I think my mounds are a bit higher in this one. So I'm going to do 2 a bit lower. Work with what you have. If you feel like your mountains are closer to the top than mine, your trees don't all have to be above the mountains. You want it to look like the trees are way closer to you than the mountains. So we do want to have like at least one that would go higher than the mountain. That will give that effect. But for mine on this side, I'll work with it, but I think I just maybe want 2 smaller ones. We'll see. Let's do it and see. So I'm going to put one here. The fun thing about painting is like I don't plan really everything out. Like I did pre-paint this, but I'm mixing it up a bit tonight. I'm doing it a little bit different. Kind of, you feel different every night you paint. So painting comes out in different ways. And I'm just going to load my brush with some more black. And then I'm going to put maybe a taller one on this side here, which is opposite to the painting I did, but that's what I want tonight. I'm just kind of tapping all the way down, just very small alternate moves, nothing crazy. And then just to where the ground hits. Okay, so when you have your trees where you want them, we are gonna stick still with this brush, only because the fine tip, unless you have a thicker fine tip, you're not going to be able to load enough paint on the brush to get a full swipe of the branches, and you want the branches to look like they're like going all the way, not like they're like hitting and missing. So unless you have a thicker tip than this, you couldn't use this, but I'm just going to use the flat side of this flat brush tonight. So I'm going to load up one side of my brush just on the edge. So if you think of your brush as, on the end, as a tiny little rectangle, I'm going to be putting the paint on just the one long side of the rectangle. And that's where that's the brush side I'm gonna have down on the canvas. So I'm gonna start up here, and you're gonna have just that edge down, and you're just gonna do a quick flick of the wrist. So it's almost like, bloop, just like that. So you can make the noise if you want. And then as you go down, obviously your brushes are going to get longer, or your strokes. But so just like a little do like that. And see how when I flick, it's looking thicker to thinner, because as I flick, my pressure is becoming less. So, where were we? So I'm just going to just do this all the way down. And if you have to reload your brush, go ahead. Every brush holds paint differently, so. And it's just a quick flick. So your paintbrush is down, flick. Paintbrush down, flick. Down, flick. So then we have that look right there on the one side. Now, I'm a bit sparse in between. I'm going to go over and just do a quick little flick in between some of those, because I don't want to see my mountain fully behind. Plus, we're going to put a little bit of white paint over top to kind of give it some light. So you can kind of pick where you flick your paint, but I just want the branches to be bit thicker. Okay, and we're gonna do the other side. The same exact way. Now I was flicking, I'm left-handed, which on here it looks like I'm right-handed because the camera's turned, but I am actually painting with my left hand. So on this side, I flicked this way. If you feel comfortable, you can just move your canvas a bit, and then you can flick this way. If you're gonna have a hard time with it, you can turn it a bit more for yourself, but I find doesn't really, just kind of flick this way. So down and flick. This way is going to feel a little bit more uncomfortable. And if you start to see like your brush strokes getting thicker and more like fuzzy, then you're going to want to add a little more paint to your brush. And I'm just going over just to kind of take that middle part and kind of mesh the paint together. And we're going to do that with the other two trees. So just little flicks. Just like that. Is my head in the way the whole time? No, you guys can see? Okay. Making sure my head's not in the way the whole time. I'm trying to watch. So we got that side there, and I always like to go over back to this side and just kind of flick once I put that side on. I don't know if it's just like because I want to, or I feel like it kind of blends the center in better when you do that. So then you have that side, and then we'll do the last tree. For anyone who's just starting this, so what I had said earlier is picture this, the end of this like a little rectangle, and you're just taking one of the long sides and putting paint on that. That's what you're going to be flicking with. You're not flicking flat, you're not flicking all four sides, just that one side. And because I'm left-handed, I should have started on this side because I'm going to stick my hand in all my wet Christmas, or around my wet trees. Not Christmas trees yet, just trees. But that's the curse of the left hand. I'm always got paint on my hand here. Anyone else left-handed that's painting with me tonight? My suggestion is always start on the right side of your canvas. And just little flicks. And then afterwards, if you see anything, like you can just fix up your bristles on your tree. If you see anything here that you don't like. And then we're just going to go over with a little bit of highlights. So I'm going to clean my brush. And I'm just going to grab, same on like the same edge, just a little edge of white. a very tiny amount. You can see there. And I'm just going to hit and miss. I'm not going to do every single brush or branch like I did with the black. So I'm just going to give just a little flicks here and there. You can even dot a little bit like down on the trunk. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. And generally your light source is coming from one section, so we wouldn't necessarily put white on both sides because then that would mean the light source is coming from this side and this side. But because we have such a colorful, bright sky, it's almost like, you know, light beams from the sky. That's why I'm putting it on both sides, because it's kind of coming from everywhere. But you could also, if you, let's say you wanted the light source to be center, like in the center because it is lighter, you could always put the white a lot thicker here and then just put a couple flicks on the outsides of the branches. Really just preference. And this again is really light-handed. If you push down too hard, you'd cover all your branches. So just this, almost like it's just giving it a light kiss. Once again, if you go over and you see that you have put too much white paint, that you don't like, that you wish more black branches were showing through, you can always go back over with black again. All right, so we got that. My battery's running low on my laptop. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go get the plug to plug it in because then we won't have enough light. Can you do me a favor? Can you grab me my plug for my laptop? It's gonna run out of batteries. And just plug it in for me. Thank you. All right, Dave's gonna do it for me. My wonderful husband. Okay, so now when we're done that, we're just gonna put some accents of white in here. We just wanted it to be dry, so that's why I did the trees next. And I'm just gonna get some more white paint. So we're gonna take our fine tip brush. He finally gets to be the shining light. And we are going to, okay, and we're just going to take and just put like a couple lines, maybe just going here, just to kind of show you how the dips and the valleys of the land. So down there coming up, just kind of like that. And then we're going to do the house. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to go into the black and we're just going to make the outline of the house, and it's just going to be a square. So most of the time when you're painting, if you're painting an actual picture, you're painting with shapes. So if you can break it down into shapes, and then you can kind of see what the painting is going to be. So for our house, we're just going to have a square to start. So somewhere here in the middle, it will sit on the land. So it's going to be on this line. And we're going to take our fine tip brush and we're just going to make a square. So I'll put mine, I don't want to have them completely centered. I want to have them a little bit off. And just maybe about an inch high, maybe not even. And then we're making a square, so same amount across. And then up. And then we can color that in. I'm just going to use my small brush. You can use the bigger flathead if you want. He's cute in the forest all by himself. Okay, so once that's done, then we're going to take the same brush and we're just going to do a triangle on top of the square. So we'll use this as the base for the triangle, the top of the square, and we're just going to extend it a bit bigger. So a little bit out from this side, across, a little bit out from that side. And then we're going to make our point somewhere in the middle there. And then you can just go down from that. So there, and then up to here. And we're going to color that in too. Just like that. And then we can wash our brush off. And while that's drying, before we add the accents to it, we are going to draw these little bubbles in. So I'll show you here. These little guys here, we're going to do those next. So we're using the pointed brush again, the fine tip. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the white and we're going to make like a kind of a pattern to follow how the sky is going. So if your, oops, I just touched my thing. Okay. If your like shape is going kind of like this, then we're going to make those little white guys like that. So I'll start over here, and it doesn't have, they can be far and few between. They're just kind of to add a little whimsical nature to this painting. So I put a little dot like this, and then I just take my brush straight up and down, so straight up and down like that, and I go very light-handed and I just start doing a circle. So I'm going to hit and miss, and I'm going to end up with that. So if you can see there, I know it's pretty far away. If you can see there, that's what I ended up with. So I will try to paint one closer to you so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So, like I said, we're gonna kind of follow this here. So I'm gonna do a little dot, let's say over a bit. And then I'm going to go in a circle. So I'm gonna put it down in that dot, and then I'm gonna start going in a circle. Hit or miss, it's a little harder in the air, but you can kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. See? So you'll get that there. And then a little bit, let me see here, what I'll do is I'm just going to put a couple little dots going down. You can do bigger ones up top here. Like that. And then the same thing throughout. So I'm going to do maybe a couple here. So a little dot and then whimsical. And another little dot. And then maybe one here. Put them wherever you want, wherever you think you're kind of missing or have like a space with not a ton of stuff going on. And then I always like to add the dots in between. Just like that. And you can make them all different sizes. They don't have to be the same size. As you go down, you can go smaller or vice versa. But you see how, because my colors are going in this direction and back, I'm doing that with my little circles. And I think I'll just do a couple more over here and that'll be good. And every time you do one, go back into your paint and add some more paint. There, now if you think it needs something somewhere else, you can always add like one separate one. I might put a little one right here in the middle. You can just add a few dots here and there too. It doesn't have to be uniform, so let me put a couple here. And then if you just wanted to put just a couple here. Just work with it, really. There's no right or wrong. So take your time to do that. You can always go back and put more. I'm going to just show you how to accent the house. And then I think we'll be done. Minus signing your name and being proud of your work. So I'm using this fine tip brush here. And I'm just going to basically outline the roof without fully outlining it. So you don't want it to be like the full shape. You just want to put it down on one side and just kind of like hit and miss like we did for some of this other stuff here. So same thing, you're just gonna do the basic outline, but it's not going to be touching like a solid line. So even like that, it's just to give it the look, to show that there is there is a roof, there is a house underneath. It's not just solid shape. And then for the sides here, very little paint. You can even wipe it off a bit on your napkin over here like I did. And just kind of brush up and brush up. And then what I did was I just put a little bit of white in front of the house and just back behind it a bit to show like there is land behind it. It's not like on the edge of the cliff ready to fall into the mountain. But just a little bit, just a bit higher than what the base of it is. And it kind of gives that perception of there's land behind. And same with kind of like here. It doesn't have to be straight, it can be curved up. But so you can kind of see now that that is where the house is in the front, and who knows how far it goes to the back, but that's where the back is. And then we sign our work. And I really, really, really want to see pictures of everybody's work. So whether you're watching the replay and doing it on your own time, or you're live with me tonight, send me the pictures. I would love to see them. I think it's so cool how everybody's is going to look different, and I love to see it. I will do a little video train or picture train of everybody's work on my Facebook page. So, okay. So I signed my initials there, so go ahead and do that. And I'm going to hit replay on, or like post on this as soon as the video is done. So, no worries about if you're still a little bit behind. Oops, let me get this back here. Okay, so I hope everybody had fun. There's going to be more of these. I'm thinking next I might do like a mommy or daddy and me paint night with my daughter. She loves to paint, so she's been saying, "Mommy, can I paint one with you live, please?" She's only 4 years old, so I said, "Okay, what do you want to paint?" So she's like, "I really want to paint an owl." So we went through kind of like Google today just to kind of get an idea of what she's thinking. And so I think I'm going to put together a mommy and me or parent and me paint night, and then I'll be painting with my daughter, and we'll do owls. I guess that's what she wants to do. So I'll be posting that. That will be free. Fun night to do something with the kids. So look out for that. There's going to be more art kits coming. So they've been doing really good. The kids' art kits are going over so good. So keep an eye out for those. There's going to be some Christmas and July ones. And then I'm just going to throw out some summer ones too, because I mean, both aspects are cool. So I'll do that. If you're watching the replay of this or you paint on the replay, put replay underneath and then I'll know. And just have a great night. I had a lot of fun painting with you. I hope that you learned some new strategies and just gained some confidence through painting, because that's what I like to teach. So have a great night, and I will see you on my next live. Night, guys.